Coming up on the next episode of Zuzu All Grown Up.
Look, Daddy, teacher says every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings.
You're now listening to Zuzu All Grown Up.
She's been featured in more than 20 films from the early days of film and television.
He is a psychotherapist and her loving husband.
Together, they are on a mission to brighten your day and your life.
It's a time to smile, a time to laugh, a time to expect more.
It's time to get inspired with your hosts, Karolyn Grimes and Dr. Brunell.
It's time to meet Zuzu, all grown up.
In this special episode of Zuzu, All Grown Up, and throughout this season, we'll honor Dr. Leo Buscaglia, affectionately known as the Hug Doctor, by exploring his profound teachings on love, self-acceptance, and positive connection. As we commemorate what would have been his 100th birthday, we'll delve into the impact his legacy continues to have on countless lives. Join us today for some of the poignant stories and reflections from those who were influenced by his work and share in his mission to spread love and hugs to the world. That's today on this very special edition of Zuzu, All Grown Up.
Joining us live in just a moment, we have Kids and Horses Incorporated of Nevada. Farmer Wilson, the executive director of Kids and Horses Inc. of Nevada.
And the topic is Kids and Horses Therapeutic Riding Program from 4 to 99. The program serves individuals with unique physical and mental abilities. I think that's going to be very interesting.
Get ready for miracles. Get ready for Zuzu. All grown up.
A horse is a horse, of course, and no one can talk to a horse, of course. That is, of course, unless...
That horse is one of Farmer Joe's that provide horse rides to kids from 4 to 99 who have unique physical and mental abilities. It's a phenomenal program, and we're going to learn all about it coming up on this edition of Zuzu, All Grown Up. We're joined today in the studio by Farmer Wilson, Executive Director of Kids and Horses Incorporated of Nevada. Karolyn and Dr. Chris, take it away.
Farmer Wilson.
And he's the executive director of Kids and Horses located in Nevada. Can you share with our audience how you got your name and where you're from?
Yes. So when I was 15 years old at the high school I attended, for football, we had summer weightlifting workouts that were mandatory. But I was working tobacco and throwing hay all summer, so I couldn't go to those workouts. So that fall, when we actually started practice, some of my teammates started to complain, said, well, how come Wilson didn't have to do summer workouts? And one of my favorite coach, he looked over and he said, that boy's been throwing hay all summer. He's got farm strength. And so from that, for the rest of that time in high school, he called me Farmer. And so it just stuck.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Dave.
So did you grow up around horses?
You know, actually, I didn't. I'm the youngest in a big family, and my mom and daddy had a farm that actually was bought out after the old TVA brought a lake in. So by the time I was born, there was no farming still going on in my family. But at 12 years old, I started doing work on farms and just fell in love with it. Horses, though, I was around horses. I rode horses. I would not call myself a horseman. Luckily, here at the ranch, I have some of the best, I would say, in the world. They are amazing, and they've taught me a lot.
So you came from Tennessee to Nevada.
Yes, ma'am, I did. It'll be 5 years this July 3rd. And I would advise anybody, if you're moving to North Tahoe, don't come on July 3rd. It's the craziest time of the year with a moving truck. Yes, I'm here for the rest of my life. I love it up here.
So you're in the Lake Tahoe area.
Yes, ma'am. I'm in Incline Village, which is on the north end of the lake. And then our ranch is down here in the Carson Valley. It's about a 30-minute drive for me. It's not too bad.
Well, tell us a little bit about what you do here at the ranch.
So Kids and Horses was established in 1999 by Lori and Sam Waldman. And Sam actually passed away a few years later, but with Lori and family, friends, and volunteers, they kept the programs going and increased them and grew them. But as far as what I do here at the ranch, I was hired about a year ago. I had been on the board of directors, and I actually had been initially a volunteer as a sidewalker with some of our younger clients during therapy, and I just fell in love with it. So when the position came open, they asked me if I would consider being the executive director. And although I had 2 other jobs, I said yes. It's a passion for me. I have 4 managers here at the ranch. I have a office manager, an equine manager, a program manager, and a special event manager. And if it weren't for those 4 ladies, I wouldn't be here. They do the real hard work. They do the day-to-day. They're just in the dirt doing anything they need. My primary responsibility is to oversee the ranch, that's the easy part, and then to raise funds and awareness of who we are and what we do.
So can you tell us a little bit about that?
We have quite a few programs here at the ranch. When Sam and Lori started this program, it was really to enhance the physical and mental well-being of young people and adults that were dealing with physical and intellectual disabilities. So they started with therapeutic riding and adaptive riding. And that was primarily what was done here at the ranch until about, I believe it was 2014. We started to go in some other areas also. With that, we have a program that's Connected Horse out of California. And what that is, that deals with early memory loss. We actually are having a session today. They're downstairs while I'm up here. But Connected Horse, it helps people with memory loss in early stage dementia and their caregiver. So what they do is they come out to the ranch. There is a educational portion, then there's a hands-on portion. And it's what it is when you sign up. We have 4 sessions a year. And those 4 sessions are broken down into 3 consecutive Saturdays for about 4.5 hours. So, and it's absolutely free. And we'll talk about this later. It's funds like we receive from Dr. Leo's foundation that make all this possible for us to be able to have our horses, our volunteers, our employees here doing this without having to charge a single penny to these individuals is such a blessing. And for us, what you find out is anyone that's dealing with physical or intellectual disabilities, the family already has, in a lot of ways, financial hardships. So if we can do something where there's not an additional hardship financially, that's another positive, for these people.
The power of the human-horse connection helps participants to feel relaxed, confident, and more happy in the moment. It can also teach self-compassion, stress reduction, strategies, communication skills, and mindfulness practices. That's a really heavy deal. This really helps in so many areas. I saw some of the videos of the dementia patients that came and were able to connect with the horses. And That's just a brilliant idea. And I'm sure that the families enjoy seeing their loved ones kind of come around a little bit for a little while. I think that's marvelous what you do.
You'll hear me use the word blessing throughout this interview because there are so many blessings in what we do and what we receive. But as much for the person that's dealing with the early onset memory loss or the dementia, the caregiver we find receives as much as the person that's dealing with the cognitive issues. You know, by the end of that third week, that third Saturday, you have individuals that are coming up to our program director and saying, "Oh my gosh, I wish I would have known about this sooner, and this is going to help us in so many ways."
I work as a therapist, and I was working at a reservation where we had equine therapy, and it was a remarkable connection between the horse and the recipients, the nonverbal cues and the relationship that the therapist was able to be the kind of like the mediator between the horse and the client. And there's just something about that relationship. If someone gets to start understanding the horse and what it's trying to tell you, it also that transfers over into our relationships with people. Yeah, it was a powerful experience that I had, and so I can't imagine how many horses and how many people you're able to see.
So we've been as high as 12 horses. We're currently at 9. And again, that's pretty much based on what our need is. Within a year, with all of our programs, including we do a juvenile program, we do students from Carson Valley, we do Washoe Tribe. So over a couple of hundred people a year come through this facility in some capacity. And with where we're going to be going with later down the road with some of our new early onset memory issues, we're going to have a lot more coming through here starting this fall.
For those with memory loss issues, what is the benefit of equine therapy? How does that bring back past memories, or what's the connection there?
You know, I think it varies per participant, depending on who that person is individually, but also to what degree their cognitive decline is. But what I think we see is there is a connection with the horse, which again, as I stated before, I was not a horseman before I came here. I rode horses and enjoyed them. But what I didn't know also was that when a person gets on a horse to ride, it's the most natural gait that's closest to a human's natural gait. So there's that connection. And then there's that emotional connection with the horse. There is something that is so therapeutic. I think it's for anyone, whether they're not dealing with issues or they are, to be able to come up and start to pet a horse and to look into the horse's eyes and to just that connection. There is, I mean, it's therapeutic on so many different levels.
How do you get to your animals, and do you have facilities there on site to maintain them?
Yes, ma'am. Our ranch is relatively small. We're in the Carson Valley, tucked up under some hills. Within our acreage, we have oversized pens. So if you go to most ranches, you would not see an individual horse in a pen this size with coverage. And we've done that on purpose. Most of our horses have come, well, all of our horses are leased. So we do a lease program with individuals that have had all types of horses. We even have a Mustang here. And so what they do is they lease them to us, and we go through a process of determining whether this horse is a good fit for our program and our participants. So after our equine manager goes through this process, which can last 8 to 12 weeks, sometimes longer, then we'll sign the agreement with the owners of that horse, which almost every single time it's past its normal duty for the owner. And they are looking, especially nowadays with the cost of feed and hay, they're looking for some relief that way. So we take over all the costs associated with the horse. And so it relieves the individuals and families of those costs, and then we get to use the horses. So each horse has their own individual oversized pen. Those pens are actually cleaned twice a day. They're fed 3 times a day, and they are let into our big show arena at least once a day, weather permitting, with at least one other horse. There is massage therapy, there is chiropractic therapy, there's dental. It's better coverage than what I have for myself. But our equine manager, like all the people that are here when I came, as y'all probably understand, at a nonprofit, we don't pay a lot wage-wise based on especially what they're worth to us. These ladies could go anywhere else and probably make 4 times as much as what they make here, but it's their passion and they love it. And so when I first came on and I saw all the care that the horses got, I was like, are you sure we need this? And my equine manager, she said, Farmer, this is what these horses need, and we're going to provide it. So.
Oh, that's wonderful. And you do a lot of work with the Washoe Indian tribe, right?
Yes, ma'am, we sure do. This will be I believe it's our second summer. So we have classes that are based on life skill classes for the Washoe Indian children. And so they come in, and it's divided into usually classroom life skills sessions, and then they also work with the horses. They do not ride the horses, but they will groom and interact with them. The Washoe tribe is so prevalent in our Carson Valley, and we feel very honored to be a part of their heritage.
That's lovely. Can you tell us about the foster care children that come and have the opportunity to touch the horses and get the vibes?
Yes, ma'am. So this is something that our program manager, she just completed her certification for a program called Stable Moments.
We'll join Karolyn and Chris in just a moment with more of Zuzu All Grown Up.
First, an important message.
Pass it on.
Imagine a little lady who wouldn't give up her seat on the bus, a TV host who wanted to be your neighbor, or an inventor whose 10,000 failures didn't stop him. These vivid images all share the same caption: inspiration. These people just did their best, and they inspire us. Now, what will you do to inspire others? Inspiration is in you.
Pass it on.
From passiton.com.
Start your morning right with premium coffee roasts available at ZuzuNetwork.com, and drink them in your Zuzu All Grown Up coffee mug. Also perfect for tea and hot chocolate.
Stay inspired throughout the day with the same gratitude journal used by Karolyn and Chris, and check out t-shirts, hats, books, Christmas keepsakes, and more at ZuzuNetwork.com/shop.
Non-attorney paid spokesperson. Could your house go into foreclosure? Are you behind on your mortgage payments? Foreclosure Protection Services can help save your home, as they specialize in foreclosure assistance. If you're behind on your mortgage payments, being threatened with foreclosure, have been denied a loan modification, or been the victim of a predatory loan, call Foreclosure Protection Services now at 800-298-3315. Their network of attorneys and their agents are available to speak to you now. Call Foreclosure Protection Services now at 800-298-3315. That's 800-298-3315. Are you wondering whether to sell or donate the car you no longer need or want? Consider that. Donating it to a legitimate, legally recognized nonprofit organization, not only will you receive a tax deduction, but you'll be contributing to a worthy cause. Finding a worthy nonprofit organization can be time-consuming and even a bit stressful. I'm here to present to you one of the most amazing, legitimate 501c3 nonprofit organizations in the world. The United Breast Cancer Foundation. The UBCF provides screenings, treatments, aftercare services, educational materials, as well as patient and family assistance. We ask that you help in that mission by donating your unwanted or unused vehicle to the UBCF. Simply call 888-842-5505. The process is fast and easy. Call 888-842-5505. 888-842-5505. Help us in our mission and get a tax deduction. Call 888-842-5505. Thank you for your support.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good. but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, give us a call at 800-683-4655. That's 800-863-4655. 800-683-4655.
Join Zuzu's network today at zuzunetwork.com/join.
Karolyn is creating an international network of aspiring angels, everyday people who believe that they can help make the world a better place by making life better for even just one other person.
Let us know you want to earn your wings at zuzunetwork.com/join, and Karolyn and Chris will send you inspirational material to support you in your journey.
We're back with more Zuzu All Grown Up.
And so Stable Moments is for children in foster care and for children who have been adopted. And these children will be matched with a mentor for a year. And between the program itself and that mentor, it helps these children develop the skills they need to heal from the trauma and navigate life, just as they go through life, because there's a lot of trauma with that. So our program director, she came to me about 9 months ago and she said, Farmer, we are missing the boat. There's a group of young people that really need us. And so she said, I want to take this class and I want to get certified so we can do it here. And she's a teacher by trade. And so she is such a great educator. So that program is scheduled to start in September of this year officially.
We know that Dr. Leo had a foundation grant. You are a part of his recipient program for his foundation grants. And
yes, ma'am.
So how did he start it, or how did the farm of the horses begin?
We have a young lady who is our grant writer. And so she researches any and all grants that could benefit kids and horses. And so when she found Dr. Leo's foundation, she said, oh my gosh, I think this could be a great match for us. So she did all of her work and made the presentation to the foundation. And then they came back to us and they awarded us a grant. We've actually used a lot of those funds to help put on our Connected Horse, the memory program that we already have in place, the one that's actually transpiring here today. What a wonderful foundation. It builds community spirit by helping people help other people. And so I was reading up on him. So when I was in college, I read one of his first books and I was hooked immediately. So when I came on board and saw that we had a grant from his foundation, it really hit a soft spot for me, just who that man was and what he did for so many people. And now it's continuing for what he's doing for us.
Wow, that's wonderful.
So can you share your plans for Memory Cafe and how it will provide support networks to family members whose loved ones are experiencing memory loss?
We received another grant about 2 months ago. And with that grant, most of our grants usually are specified what they would prefer us to use the funds for. So this one had to deal again with early onset memory loss and dementia. So we started to do our research, and my events manager, she found the memory cafes, which are pretty prevalent nationwide. And so instead of trying to reinvent the wheel, we did all of our research about what the memory cafes are about and what could work for us, what would best fit our community. Because here in the Carson Valley, we are an aging community. We've had an inverse since COVID of a lot of younger people from California here. but we still have a ton of the older generation, and they're all being affected in some way by, cognitive issues. What we did was we put a steering committee together, and the lady who is heading our steering committee, her and her husband is dealing with early memory loss. And so these are two brilliant people, the top of their professions. And they are just so kind. When they came down to the ranch and they heard about what we were looking at, she said, "Farmer, I would love to help in some way." And so we said, well, let's take a look at this and see if this fits. So immediately the committee was formed, and they've already had a couple of meetings. We're right now, the last I've heard is we're shooting for potentially October is our pilot program. And that pilot program can go in a lot of different ways, but because of our facilities here, we have an indoor facility for teaching. We actually have a small little gym that some of our kids that are in therapeutic classes use before they get on the horses also. So there's so many things we can do inside and outside. And so we're still trying to hone exactly what our memory cafe is going to look like, but it will be for those participants and their caregivers. Hopefully they'll want to come also. And we're looking at probably for a couple of hours on certain days, and whether that's starting off with maybe some healthy snacks, and then some of the suggestions, you even go into something that's so basic but simple and fun, like we'll get pots from a garden center and soil and flowers, and we may sit there and they get to pot some flowers that they take back with themselves. Mm-hmm. And then we'll also put on a grooming session where our equine manager will bring in one of our horses in our covered arena, and she'll explain what all the tools are and what the tools are used for, and then she'll actually do a grooming of the horse. So there's no rocket science to it. It's engaging the community. It's engaging these individuals that have hit a rough spot in their lives. And if we can be some comfort and care for our community, then we've done our job.
Wonderful, wonderful. So can you tell us a little bit about adaptive riding?
Yes, ma'am. So we are a PATH certified riding center, which actually we're a premium PATH center, which is hard, very hard to achieve and very hard to keep. And again, once you get PATH instructors for what we can pay, if someone is young and they're trying to raise a family, it's probably not going to be a good fit for them, because again, we can't pay what someone in California at just a regular ranch can pay. But what we're finding is someone comes here, if I get an individual to come to Kids and Horses, they're hooked for life, because you see the transformations immediately that are going on. So with the PATH instructors, that gives us an edge in who we are and what we do. And so those adaptive lessons are normally done on Sunday and Monday, and it teaches the basic skills of riding. It teaches grooming. It teaches just primary lessons about horsemanship also. It was the first program that they started here, that Sam and Lori started.
So how are you able to meet the physical challenges that your participants have?
I would say it probably goes back to our employees and our volunteers. So even with our volunteers, they will go through training to make sure they know how to work with the individuals that are coming to our center. They do updates on all that. Our staff are trained, retrained, and then trained again. So with people that are dealing with these situations, our staff and volunteers know the proper ways, not only from the mental and emotional aspect of helping these individuals, but also the physical limitations. So we have a fake horse that's in our indoor center, and it was donated by a family who had lost a child, actually. And the horse's name is Mikey. If you have someone who, just say they're starting out and there's either a fear of the horse of a real horse, or physically they cannot get on to one, they start with Mikey.
We'll join Karolyn and Chris in just a moment with more of Zuzu All Grown Up.
First, an important message.
To find out more about the organization featured in today's episode or a previous episode, and to learn more about how you can help, go to zuzunetwork.com/beanangel.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Zuzu's book club features recommendations from Zuzu herself on books she loves and thinks you will love also. All of the books that the club reads, fiction and nonfiction, are inspirational and uplifting. Folks, this is a life-enhancing club to be part of. You can sign up for free at zuzunetwork.com/book club. That's zuzunetwork.com/book club.
This is an important announcement for anyone who wants health insurance, even if you missed the deadline. That's right. Don't worry if you missed the deadline for open enrollment. Right now, you can get the health insurance you and your family need from top insurance providers, even if you have pre-existing conditions or no insurance at all. The Plus Benefits Health Insurance toll-free number has been extended to help anyone who wants health insurance coverage now, or anyone who just needs a better plan or a lower price. Did you miss the penalty deadline, have a baby, get married, or get dropped from your plan? Don't worry, plans are available now, and in just minutes, we will help you find the right plan that's best for you and your budget. Call Plus Benefits Health Insurance now at 800-332-1993. The call is 100% free and the help is real. You can finally get health insurance that's right for you. But hurry and get covered before it's too late.
Call 800-332-1993 now to find the best plan at the lowest price. Call 800-332-1993. That's 800-332-1993. 800-332-1993.
Imagine having all the money you need for retirement, all the income, every month, guaranteed. That's Secure Future Investor. Secure Future utilizes an indexed annuity tied to growth in the U.S. stock market, but without any risk of loss ever. That's right. No matter what happens in the market, your investment can never decline. Down years, you're insured against any losses. Boom years, your retirement account grows exponentially to increase your worth. Whether the market is up or down, Secure Future Investor can set you up with guaranteed money for life income. It's the difference between thinking you have enough money to retire and knowing you're getting that retirement check every single month for the rest of your life, no matter how long you live. Over 40 years old? Call now. 888-288-7088. 888-288-7088. Sponsored by GP Agency, Inc., Raleigh, North Carolina. Licensed in all states. Performance may vary. Consult with your financial professional before making an investment decision.
A careless driver can change your life in an instant. Do you know what to do or who to call? If you've been injured in a motor vehicle accident and don't have an attorney, call Auto Accident Help Desk for a free consultation. We can answer all of your questions and estimate the potential value of your case. Call Auto Accident Help Desk and connect with an expert personal injury attorney.
Call 800-297-9766. 800-297-9766.
Don't worry how to handle your medical bills, lost wages, and pain. We will get you the money you deserve.
They got me way more than the insurance company offered.
The consultation is free, and you don't pay any legal fees unless we win or settle your case. Make the smart call if you've been injured in an auto accident. Call Auto Accident Help Desk for a free legal consultation.
Call 800-297-9766. 800-297-9766. 800-297-9766.
Auto Accident Help Desk.
1 out of 8 women in the United States will be diagnosed with breast cancer in her lifetime. And the chances are you know at least one person who's been personally affected. But right now, you can help. It's simple. Donate your unwanted vehicle, RV, or trailer to the United Breast Cancer Foundation. It's the easiest way to contribute to one of the nation's leading charitable organizations. The process is fast, easy, and free. Not only will you be helping, but you'll also receive a tax deduction. The United Breast Cancer Foundation offers an array of programs and services that help and support families and individuals dealing with breast cancer. But we can't do it alone. We need your help. Simply give us a call to get started, and we'll schedule a pickup date that is convenient for you. If you have any questions you would like answered before initiating the donation process, please feel free to call us toll-free at 800-324-6218. That's 800-324-6218. 800-324-6218.
This is Zuzu. All grown up.
And about 4 or 5 months ago, I was here one day, and there was a young woman in her 30s, Down syndrome. She had been riding Mikey for over a year indoors. And this day I happened to be there was going to be her first day on the horse, on the real horse. And so I was out there in the indoor arena. Her daddy's standing there with her. And our instructor says, "All right, go ahead and get your saddle, bring it over to the horse." And she looks over at her dad. And this is what I love about the families here. The dad looked back at her and because she was thinking he was going to pick it up. The daddy looked back at her and said, "Okay, get your saddle." So all 4'8" of her picked up that saddle. She carried it over to the horse and they helped her get it on. And then once they had all the tack was on and ready to go, and she went to the mounting block and got on the horse, the smile that came across her face, it's worth more than any money you could ever receive. And to see just the joy in her eyes and her daddy's eyes, again, I probably need Kleenexes because I'm gonna start crying here. It happens all the time. And I always tell people, when you raise children and those children don't have any special needs, you always celebrate, oh, Johnny won this track meet, or Susie won the debate, or Megan got into Pepperdine, whatever it may be. You celebrate, everybody celebrates those things. With our families here, what I love is if Susie here has one just small increment, just the tiniest, most minute increment of improvement, that joy to that family is as much or more than that child that got into Pepperdine. Yeah. And so it's about the perspective. And so I've learned a lot from these families. I love them to death. They are my family now.
Oh, that's wonderful. It shows that you have a great heart, and that, wow, I'm impressed a lot. Do you have a website?
Yes, ma'am. We are Kids and Horses, the word .org, O-R-G. And one of it gives all the information that we're talking about today. One of my greatest achievements so far, and it's not my achievement, but I helped to perpetuate it. There's a young man in his late 20s who is a filmographer, I guess is the term, and he makes videos and films. And I got to meet him. His name is Shay Phillips. And I got to meet Shay. And one day he said, Farmer, y'all don't have any good videos on your website. He said, let me come down and make a video for you. So this man took a couple of days off. He used his own equipment, just came down here and he made this video. And if you go to kidsandhorses.org, you'll see the YouTube video on the front. And it's 3 minutes long. And it goes through 4 of our clients. And have a box of tissues with you. It is one of the most joyous things you'll ever watch. So again, I'm using the word again, but Shay blessed us with that video free of charge. We had one of our volunteers, and we've had 2 bad winters here. So our lessons were down, our income was down some. And so one of our volunteers heard that, not that we were hurting, but that our income was down and that we were going to maybe do a fundraiser. And so this lady donated $10,000. Oh. She's one of our volunteers. And she said, this is it's an anonymous donation. She would not take credit for it. But those are the people we have here. They believe in what Sam and Lori started and what everyone has carried on until I've gotten here. So I'm just trying not to mess it up.
I think you're doing a good job.
Programs like yours require a lot of dedication, well-trained staff, and volunteers to keep them going. Can you share what it takes to provide an adaptive riding program? I mean, there's a lot of moving parts here.
There are, and as you know, we started to get into a little bit our past certified instructors. That's probably our number one priority with that, because we want to make sure that we're doing it properly. Number two is our horses. So right now we're up to 9 horses, and our adaptive horses, sometimes the horses that we use for adaptive and for therapeutic can cross over, but our staff have to know what each individual adaptive rider needs. So when an adaptive rider comes in, there will be an evaluation. The first lesson they have is an evaluation. What are your skills already? What are your limitations? They look at height, they look at weight, they look at balance. All these factors go into which horse they're going to pick for that individual. So once that's done, then they have to go in, they have to figure out what equipment they need, which is primarily their helmets. And normally they'll have their own riding boots. Then another expense is our everything that's in our tack room, you know, from our bridles to our saddles, just every single thing that's in there. It's costly to replace those items also. Then you have the arenas, the indoor covered arena, which is open on 2 sides to the weather and covered on 2 sides and then covered over top. It's a gorgeous facility that has to be maintained on a daily basis. Our outdoor arena for adaptive has to be maintained on a daily basis. So you take from your managers to your instructors to your volunteers who are either leading the horse to start off with until the client gets ready. Then you have people who are feeding the horses. You have people that are mucking the stalls. It's a collaborative event. Someone just showed up and said, "Oh, we're going to ride horses." They would have no idea everything that goes into that. I farm tobacco, I farm hogs, row crops, cattle, hay, all those things. I had no idea what all went into horses. I can be just an old good country boy from the South and do normal farming. If you're going to be a horse rancher, you have to have some real intelligence. And that's everyone around here. I don't let them know this, but I feel intimidated at times by their intelligence.
Our listeners, how could they donate? What do they have to do? Where would they go to find out how they can donate?
So first, let me make what I always tell people. So when I'm in the community, I don't know a stranger. So I carry a pocket full of my cards. And if I ever have a chance to say hi to somebody, they're going to find out about kids and horses. And then I tell them, listen, if you give me a call a week ahead of time, bring yourself, your family, your friends, and I'm going to make my homemade Nashville chicken and biscuits and macaroni and cheese. I'm going to feed you. You're going to see a lesson. Then more than likely, you're going to write us a check. The other part of that is in asking for help, it's always time, talent, or treasure. The treasure, of course, keeps us going financially. The time, though, for our volunteers is immeasurable. And then the talent, like I was telling you, the couple that's here that's steering our committee for the Memory Cafe, if we had to pay for these 2 people's services, there'd be no way we could afford it. So I always tell people time, talent, or treasure. But if someone wants to make a donation to us, you can go to kidsandhorses.org, and there's a section for a donation there.
Oh, okay. That's great.
You know, I find that the connection with Dr. Leo Biscaglia and his message of love and compassion fits nicely with your mission.
I agree. You think about what Dr. Leo stood for, and I guess even in his memory still stands for. In the world today, there is so much going on, and I think we could all learn a lot from what his life was about, what his missions were about, what his books were about, and now what his foundation continues to do for the greater communities. And what I love about it is it's not just one little area. I mean, I'm sure his foundation has blessed so many people in so many different, parts as far as geographical too.
Mhm.
Yes,
Yeah.
we're learning that as we go here. He's touched a lot of lives in different places in the world and also different avenues. He really was a broad spectrum fellow, and this is just a marvelous foundation.
Well, you think about what his message was. And again, I think the first book I read may have been 1979 or 80, somewhere in there. And I'm not sure, I guess he was probably publishing before then, but how true to core that was for that time, but it's still the same today. And I think we need it more today. So any way that I can help promote Dr. Leo's foundation, you let me know, and I'll be on a soapbox for what he's done for us.
Oh, thank you.
Well said.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
We've really enjoyed learning about this, and it's just right up the hill from us. We might have to come over there and visit you.
And get some of those that graving.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I will feed you anytime. Just give me a couple days notice. And if I'm down y'all's way, I'll give you a holler too.
Oh, that'd be great.
Thank y'all so much for this opportunity and for what y'all do and for what y'all stand for.
Well, thank you.
Well, if each one of us can try and make just a little difference, you're making a huge difference, but we sure appreciate that. So thank you for being our guest today.
Well, thank y'all and have a blessed day.
You too.
You too.
What a great interview, and what an incredible accomplishment and contribution you and your program are making. We'll be right back.
Do you know someone who is earning their wings? Someone practicing kindness and service to others? Perhaps an organization or initiative helping make the world we live in a kinder, sweeter place.
Or maybe you've witnessed the miraculous, the divine, the magnificent in some way in your life, and you'd like to share it with others. Go to zuzunetwork.com/tellmystory and let us know more.
You may end up being featured on an upcoming episode of Zuzu All Grown Up. That's zuzunetwork.com/tellmystory. Now here's Seth Kennedy with today's parting thoughts.
You may have seen horses racing, or maybe you've been horseback riding, but you may not have known how horses are helping special kids make their childhood better. Whether it's a dog or a cat, a parakeet or a horse, animals are helping humans every day. Let us help them as well, and remember that every animal and every person has a valuable contribution to make to this world. Let us never forget that, and let us treat every living creature as special.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Zuzu All Grown Up.
We hope you've been inspired to live your most wonderful life now and to help those around you do the same.
Remember, no matter what you're going through, no matter who you are, there are people who care about you, and your life makes a difference.
It is a wonderful life.
Check out zuzunetwork.com for more on today's and other episodes, including transcripts and merchandise you won't want to be without.
New episodes are coming soon.
For transcripts of today's broadcast, go to zuzunetwork.com/transcripts. Zuzu All Grown Up with your hosts Karolyn Grimes and Dr. Chris Brunell.
Announcer and guide Seth Kennedy.
Executive producer Kevin R. Stillmock.
Coordinating producer Holly Ann Way.
Technical producer Stella Joelle.
A Wonderful Land production.
In collaboration with Radio Wonderful.